Bob Marley said, what am I family of music? Bob Marley also said, soon we will find out the real revolutionaries. Let us hear it for the real revolutionaries in Charlotte House. We want to welcome on stage the real revolutionary Ziggy Marley. The real revolutionary Stephen Marley. The real revolutionary Julian Marley. The real revolutionary Kimani Marley. The real revolutionary David Junior Marley.
Ethiopia for the first time together as a family to celebrate my father's birthday is about carrying on the vision of African unity. Thinking about the mission ahead, looking out the window, and meditating about the future of Africa. What is our role in that future, and how do we make our dreams a reality?
Alright, let me see now. Show me Africa. Hold on. Right here, we're going right here. Let me see what we're doing.
I couldn't believe it until I got on the plane today that I was coming. I've always believed music is a powerful way to unite Africa. Because here is Bob all the way from Jamaica singing about Africa, and he died when I was born, and I'm 23 now, and I'm still listening to him, and the message is so strong. So there is hope. There's always hope as long as there's people, as long as there's young people who are growing up. You just have to fix in their minds the right way, the right path.
Marley to me is a very good person. It's a legend to me. First of all, the music plays has a lot of message. Africa unite. In unity, Africa can be developed. And I have a vision that one day Africa will be, I think, at the top of the world.
God. I mean, this is Zion. This is the Holy Land. This is Ethiopia. Ethiopia means sheer bliss.
How good and how pleasant. We always see Ethiopia as a place that we say, oh, I would love to go there. And now we're here. We're more than happy.
You feel like this is your home now?
Africa is my home. Not just Ethiopia. All Africa. This is why we're here to say, Africa unite.
Bob Marley articulated our own strength, our own passion, our own sense of self through his music. He would call upon us to look at the situation, to talk about Africa. He loved Africa. The fact that we're here to carry on the work is very important.
Pleasure. Welcome to Ethiopia.
Pleasure to be here.
How good and how pleasant it would be before God and man, to see the unification of all Africans.
We're so happy to finally reach Ethiopia. It's what we've dreamed about, thought about, and heard about so much in our lifetime. This place is a special place, Ethiopia, the genesis of mankind, the beginning of life.
It's indeed a fitting compliment that we are assembled in Addis Ababa, a shining beacon of African freedom, to pay our tribute to the Honorable Bob Marley, a man who dedicated his work and life to African unity.
Well, I must pick a place on earth where I know I must live, and I know I want to live near my father. My father lives in Ethiopia, and the unity we must have to start now, because, I mean, how long would we have to suffer to just learn these things that we must be united? I like the mankind live together. That is the future. Rasta is the future. See? Yes.
Without Bob Marley right now, I don't see myself being in this place. Because this place is very important, you know. It's like, to me, it's like Africa Parliament. You know what I mean? And here we are standing here. So we give thanks to Bob Marley. You know what I mean? Because it's because of his doing. Because if it was his 60th birthday, we wouldn't come in here. They wouldn't let me through the gate.
A Rastafari, it means a man that's supposed to have equality right and justice in himself. So we must always live an exemplary life as a Rasta man. I'm on 70, going 71 right now. And I've spent 50 years out of that, 70 years in this field. I don't want nothing else away from Rasta. I just put away the worldly things and put away the difference and just live love with people. In our days it was different from today. Prior to be a Rasta man, you know, it was the great tribulation. The government words was get rid of the state by any means necessary. Don't rent them the house, no vehicle, don't take them up, don't give them the work. If you look in our store window, you'll be charged with vagrancy or waiting on an opportunity to commit offense.
Wipe away transgression, set the captive free.
When you listen over the radio, anywhere is one or two Rasta, bring them in dead or alive. The system tries so much to wipe them out. But they know the Almighty plan, no one can draw.
In 1930, the Ethiopian prince Rastafari was crowned Emperor of Ethiopia. His coronation was a spectacular event which attracted the attention of the world. A religion developed in Jamaica prompted by the coronation. He was seen to be the voice for Black Africa against the power of Imperial Europe.
For at least the whole continent one time was Ethiopia. His people changed it and cut it and call it different names. What we as Rastas are thinking to do in Africa today is to move away ethnic ties and boundaries that causing war and strife on the continent. I think that is one of the most important work to organize a Ras, to get away difference from African people.
I blind worship.
You know, even in the Bible, they tell you the first land that the river Euphrates went down and water was the land of Ethiopia. So we know it is a righteous people. In that continent is where my Creator first. Then I would have to love where the Almighty comes from.
They that go through great tribulation. Once was black heart, but now over land and sea. I shall last the eye and I guide. Let it be the strength for the eye on the eye journey, you know.
Ethiopia! Here I try.
To really reach that land Ethiopia, this is a great dream of mine becoming a reality.
I didn't work hard, right? And you deserve it.
This is your boarding pass from London to Addis Ababa.
So the Bible says to bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth, even the one that's called by an idea.
All my life I wish to be here. This come like a dream that has been fulfilled.
These people came all the way from Japan. Yes. This mural was first done when the OU was opened by His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I. It was inaugurated on Bob Marley's birthday, which is quite a coincidence. So it's very befitting we're here to celebrate his birthday.
I want to say how wonderful it is for me to preside over this symposium, the first day of the symposium, Africa United.
Nkrumah was who told the story of the hunter and his son, who listened wide-eyed as his father came home every night to recount his exploits in the jungle. His son asked his father that if the lion was the king of the jungle, why did he never succeed even once to defeat the hunter? Son, if the lion wants to defeat the hunter, he will first have to learn to tell his own stories. Let us begin to learn to tell our own stories.
50 years ago, we would not be sitting in a chamber like this. 50 years ago, your grandparents would not be thinking that you would one day come back to this continent, come back here with a message in your heart that Africa is our home. It is our duty to tell our children the truth. Our children must know where their roots lie. Our children need not look to Western civilization as their beginning. We had our kings and our queens. We had our empires. The Sphinx of Egypt. The mathematics that came from Africa.
Africa. Snow-capped mountains and dark jungles. Wide rivers, boundless grasslands. Rich in resources that lay untouched since the world began.
By the turn of the 19th century, Africa had been dismembered and reduced to a quilt of colors representing the flags of all European powers. And the tiniest European country, Belgium, under Leopold, is going to perpetrate one of the greatest crimes against the people of what was then called Belgium, Congo.
Here lived Africa's peoples, buried in their jungle, too backward to realize the inheritance it offered, the untapped resources of their vast continent.
I was born a colonial, so was Marcus Garvey. Anybody over 70 years of age was born a colonial. And you grew up looking at another man's flag. You said you were free. You were free, and you looked at the Union Jack, the British flag, and said, that's my flag. I am now a free man. You thought, I am a free man.
In Africa, in its jungles and in its villages, wealth lay waste. Copper, zinc, palm oil. What was sown with struggle and patience now yields a precious harvest.
Nigeria's cocoa and coffee exports total more than £4 million annually. The colonies' drive to help Britain's economy is perhaps best shown by Nigeria's increased cocoa, coffee and cotton output. Thus, Britain's dependence on her colonies grows every day. Partners for prosperity.
Those people who had the vision of Marcus Garvey, the vision of Bob Marley, gave us the message that no man can give you freedom. No man can say you're free. You must liberate yourselves from mental slavery. None but we can free our own minds.
Are youth activists in your country, and I know Bob Marley has inspired many of us to do what we're doing right now through his lyrics, and I can see him through the music. So we're here to carry it on. I love the motto, United States of Africa. That sounds real good.
She wants to be a doctor. She like to join medicine school.
He wants to be a journalist as well as economist, right? Economist. Yeah, he's economist. He's a youth activist. He works on HIV/AIDS. What he expects from this is that he has dreams for Africa to unite. Africa unite. So I think this conference will help us to come together. We, the youth, we have to unite ourselves. And so far as we are united, we are the future of South Africa.
The nice lady beside me here is Nazizi, as most of you know, from Kenya.
I've been doing music in my country for a long time, and my music is basically about youth empowerment. Not a lot of musicians in my country want to speak about maybe if it's political stuff or police brutality or anything. They're afraid to. They don't want to get cut off the radio, you know. But then there's me who just says whatever I want to say. Yo, Moja, cause I'm a true soldier. Beat, sticky bump, I'ma drop it. Really. Nothing rhythm for Achille. Rhyme anytime, there's no other like Nazizi. My family goes crazy about my dreadlocks and everything because they're Muslim. But at the end of the day, Bob has been such like a father figure who's not there, but I just always looked up to him, you know, like I found a lot of comfort in his lyrics.
Bob loves Ethiopia. Bob loves for Rastafari. And with all of that going on around the world, so much trouble in the world, he's calling for the unification of all Africans. All African countries should unite in one. And this is why we're here, to bring that unity together through the music and the work of Bob Marley. And it's not my idea. This is Bob's idea.
African languages. That's my contribution for my country. And you guys cannot let me alone. Alone I can't do it. So we take all the pledges today, but you have to do it every day. You can't go home and sit down and say, now we're waiting for the politician. Wait for them, you die. Your youth is torn and sold and finished.
Me, I'm not going to sing. She sings. I'm not going to want to sing because she sings. That's big. I'm a peasant son. If we can have farms in every African nation, then let's sell our produce. Open this border business. Let Kenya buy my fruit. Let's have regional cooperation.
Anyone that want to trade with my country has to involve somebody from my country 50-50. You don't come to my country and make the money and leave the country and go away. Forget it. We have to learn from each other. We in Africa have to grow what we need to eat and not to starve, and rely on rich country to feed us. And no government nowhere in the world can come and tell me in my country that my peasants have to grow carrots instead of corn. If corn is the primary ingredient in our meal, is the priority.
We don't want to get rich in one day. We don't want millions of dollars from the World Bank. We can make our money. You know, let's buy tractors. Let's import tractors, not tanks to kill us. You know, let's import seeds.
No weapons.
No weapons. Let's enter Africa. I don't want a South African to think I'm a Ugandan, I'm not a part of him.
And altogether, what can somebody do against the will of the people? Nothing. We have the power.
Good afternoon, Ethiopia. How are you doing? Ready for Africa Unite? Okay.
unity of Africa is a great message that my father would want to spread. His Pan-Africanism move, his whole love for Africa and the struggle of black people in Africa, which was about uniting all the different resources that all the different countries in Africa have and putting them together and then using it for the benefit of Africa, you know.
Can we then try and zero into each of these areas, for instance, start with education and see how poverty impacts upon young people in their education?
Everything comes, I think, from poverty. It's about unemployment. If you want to learn, you have to get some G's in order to go to school. If you don't have some, stay at home. Be the street boys or girls. Use some drugs.
I think this whole thing starts because a very large percentage are not working. So when you develop the vocational training and all this expertise is given, there has to be where we are going to put them. You just don't develop them and leave them. And the first thing I think is to have a willing government.
How can we still have children who sleep on empty stomachs, who have to go to school on empty stomachs? There are no buses in some of the places in South Africa. Why is that? When there's money going in every day into the tax system.
Many companies nowadays, they employ those people who have gone to school. So if there is war in a country,
it is, let's say, use and conflict. The last thing I do. Let's have positive and negative peace, okay? The positive, the negative one is the armed conflict, but the positive ones talk of all these things.
Maybe the lack of employment.
HIV.
Whoa. We're all suffering the same thing and all struggling the same thing, but in different places. Kenyans are doing it in their own way, trying to make things work. Tanzanians are doing it in their own way. But I think if we all came together and fought what we're fighting for together, you know, as one, then we get to a place where we're going faster, you know.
Hungry, hungry, my Africa is hungry.
I always ask myself, why is it that we cannot go into unity in order for us to share what we have? For me to share maybe my food with my brother in Rwanda, with my brother in Congo. Why can't it be that we are united?
I'm longing to see Africa, our country Africa, like the Burundi, the Rwandis, and the Mozambians having peace in their country. I see Africa less united.
We want to big up and bring on stage right now a talented songwriter and producer. He's Ethiopia's young, upcoming, and still reigning. Ready up,
Addis Ababa, አይሰማም እዮሃ ታሪክ ሰራችሁ እዮሃ የአገሬ ልጆች እዮሃ ኑ ልጥፋችሁ እዮሃ በላሳ ፎቶ እዮሃ ለብሰን ባንዲራ እዮሃ ስለጻፈበት እዮሃ በል የአገሬ ጎበዝ ለምዬ ውለታ ወርቃ መጽሐፉላችኔ ለክብሯ ስጦታ በልኩራ ያዝና ባፍ የባንዲራ ዘንግ ብራ መጽሐፉላችኔ ለምዬ ማረግ አለልሽ ስለሽ ገድል በታገለኒሳ አንተ ነህ ያሁኑ ዘመን ተተኪው አንበሳ 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 ቀነኒሳ አንበሳ ቀነኒሳ አንበሳ ታሪክ ሰራ አንበሳ የማይረሳ አንበሳ ቀነኒሳ አንበሳ 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 እናመሰግናለን. Thank you.
Just as much as Ethiopia is special to Bob Marley is special to Ethiopia, just as much. It's all about in love, no war, all living in harmony. One. Love, man.
Yes, people, are you feeling okay? Yes. Do you love Bob Marley?
Yes, the king. Arma Black people rise, unite yourself, be wise, unite yourself, Babylon fall, Babylon, Babylon, Babylon fall.
Get up, stand up for your rights. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your rights.
My father felt a great love of the history of Ethiopia, such a strong history. The only country in Africa that was never conquered by outside forces. So it was his holy place. You know. As Haile Selassie I stated, our destiny is in our hands, but we must never slacken in our determination. Never allow new forms of neo-colonialism, whatever their guise may be, to take hold of any of us.
That's the main entrance to the palace. Originally, it was my great-grandfather, Ras McConnell. From Ras McConnell, it came down to my grandfather, the Emperor Haile Selassie.
He represents the black people all over the world, not just Ethiopia.
Yes.
People understand that history, that there was a country that stood up to colonialism and defeated the Italian army. You know?
Italian bombs destroy defenseless villages. Mussolini, adamant, defiant, carries on his conquest of Ethiopia. Men of Ethiopia, down with your plows, up with your spears. Repulse the invader. The Italians have machine guns, but we have God on our side. Gitet, unite.
Armed with spears and swords, and some with guns, tens of thousands went forth to battle against science, steel, and mustard gas.
The Lion of Judah calmly surveys the scene. His foot on an unexploded shell is a gesture of contempt for the enemy air raids which have failed to disrupt his legion. On moves Selassie with his men, a king determined to hold out to the bitter end.
Of course, his courageous stand that he took at the League of Nations, and speech that he gave to the League of Nations. It was one of the great, the great moments in history, great moments in the 20th century.
Decided to come myself to defend the cause of my people before the Council of the League of Nations. Monsieur le Président.
His people, he said, were fighting for their lives. But it was international morality that was on trial. Should it happen that a strong nation may with impunity destroy a small people, the West will perish.
When he said, today it's us, tomorrow it's you.
Yeah.
And it fell on deaf ears.
Yes.
Him standing up there and fighting the cause, I think inspired the Rastafarian.
Also, the fact of the lineage, spiritual lineage, and lineage as well, that the Rastafarians referred to as well.
That comes from the Queen of Sheba.
Yeah, the Queen of Sheba. Yeah.
The Bible.
Yes.
In fact, I've never seen anybody read the Bible so much. Each Rastafarian has read the Bible 2 or 3 times, and their knowledge is very deep.
Yes. Yes.
And you're absolutely right.
Yes.
They link Ethiopia to the Promised Land.
I've got to go back home. This couldn't be my home. It must be somewhere else, or I would kill myself, because can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, can't get a job to get bread. That's why I'm tired. nothing but sadness, nothing like a future here. I've got to leave this land, I've got to find myself on some other side. I just can't stand this life of living, because can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, can't get a job to get bread. That's why I've got to go back home. I've got to go back home. I've got to go back home. Ethiopia is my home. Ethiopia, I'll never leave again.
We need to have one strong body for all the youth organizations so that we can all work together for the betterment of this continent. We cannot work separate like this, because we will be dealing with environment issues, HIV, AIDS, and employment, whatever it is that concerns the youth.
We should go back to our countries and tell the people, listen, this is what we want to do. We want to centralize, and at the end of discussions, we should conclude with an implementation.
Planted in our head by our forefathers who come before us, include Bob Marley, Marcus Garvey. The idea of unity should be a part of our regular discussion, so that we can get it back in the consciousness, so it can be in the streets, so it can be a part of the pop culture of Africa.
A black man redemption, can you dig it? A black man redemption, can you stop it?
The Pan-African movement can be spoken of as the first challenge to global white supremacy. Pan-Africa was born in 1900. The idea of a united Africa, we saw that movement moving internationally. A Pan-Africa which had various conferences. That famous conference of 1945, the fifth Pan-African conference, a milestone in our history with a cream of black intellectuals, politicians, and students of the day, met in that hall in Manchester, England. I recall when that electrifying speech of Kwame Nkrumah, sitting just 2 seats away from me, when he arose and poured fire into the minds and hearts of that audience. Go back to your countries and fight for independence. Seek first independence by all means at your disposal. It was no accident that within 20 years, over 30 countries became independent.
Gambia now became the 21st state. Sudan becomes an independent republic. The Congo became independent. Congratulations to Tanganyika. The Cameroons celebrate independence.
I think I have spoken enough in this language. It is not my wish that I should be speaking to you in a foreign, and for that matter, in colonialistic language.
Walking up these steps, the birthplace of the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, was an inspiration to us. Haile Selassie established the OAU headquarters in 1963 to pursue a unified, independent continent.
Every man got the right to decide his own destiny, and in this judgment there is no partiality.
እኛ አፍሪካውያን ብዙ መቶ ዓመታት ዳኝነትና መብት ተነፍገን የቆየን ስለሆን ዛሬ ትክክለኛ ዳኝነትና መብት ካለን ድምጻችንን በመናሰማበት ጊዜ ልንሰማ እንችላለን።
We gon' fight, we love to fight, we gonna fight it for right. Not get my shit in a Zimbabwe.
My My father carried me to Zimbabwe for the independence celebration when what was Rhodesia became Zimbabwe. So his inspiration to me was not in telling me things, but in me seeing all the things that he was doing and even listening to his songs. Those were, as to many people, his words to me.
Come together, overcome a little trouble. Yes, but soon we'll find out who is the real revolutionary. And I don't want my people to be contrary.
Even though we're far in the West, but we don't leave the struggle, and the struggle don't leave us. We are a part of everything that's happening in Africa, and every sadness, every joy is the same thing we feel. Youth of Africa is the only hope for Africa. It is our responsibility to move forward with the dreams of our forefathers and our parents, and to make that dream become a reality. So you think education is the most important thing for the unity?
Of course, because now we don't have our history in the curriculum.
50% of all Africans are under the age of 20. Youth are the present and future of the continent. Meeting them, I know they are the ones who can make Africa Unite work.
Love, love, love. One perfect love.
One love.
One love.
What's the difference between what you heard and what you see?
Well, what I heard and what I'm seeing now, I'm seeing my sisters and brothers. That makes me so happy. I'm feeling good to see all of you people around me. I'm feeling like a king right now. See His Majesty as a divine person, a godlike person. And we glorify in His Majesty continually. For when His Majesty came to Jamaica in 1966, I was the first person that reached His Majesty place. Marcus Garvey did prophesy that black people must look to Africa. When a black king shall rise, we must know that he is our God and our king.
The conquering lion shall break every chain. The conquering lion shall break every chain. The conquering lion break every chain. Chain,
Well, I've heard about this church and give thanks that I bless my eyes on it now.
Welcome in the name of God.
Yes, my brother. I and the Rashes see this place, Ethiopia, as a future heaven up to date. We have a psalms that a prayer that we always said in Jamaica. We says prince and princesses must come out of Egypt. And Ethiopia stretch forth our hands unto the Almighty. We say, oh, thou jar for Ethiopia, our divine majesty. The Spirit has come into our heart to dwell in part of righteousness. Lead us. Endure us with thy wise mind, knowledge and understanding to do thy will. And thy blessing to be your job, that the hungry be fed, the naked clothed, the sick nourished, the aged protected, and the infants cared for. So to this is all the joy I have.
No, we are one family. We are one. Our place is the same. We are one.
My brother.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
Our mother country is not mine, but for us.
Ours.
Thank you.
Yes, Pastor.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Today you are fulfilling my heart desire. When I reach back home, I shall tell the whole of the Rasta family this privilege that I've got from myself.
Emperor Majesty.
He has enough to build this cathedral in 1942 for our heroes' memory, for our patriots' memory.
Yes.
Okay, here we get Haile Selassie's thrones and his wife sits. Here, the Lion of Judah.
Blessed thanksgiving, Your Majesty, that you have been this privilege to us. Blessed be thy holy name, Haile Selassie the First.
Africa and Ethiopia is a part of my spiritual existence. I've seen His Imperial Majesty in my dreams when I was a child. That's how we love Africa. It is a part of our soul.
Live if you wanna live. Rastaman vibration, yeah. Positive. That's what we got to give. I vibration, yeah. Positive. Got to have a good vibe. I am man vibration,
It really filled my heart seeing the people still practicing ancient customs and traditions, giving me a feeling of how humanity is meant to live in reverence to the Almighty.
It's the first time I really been in a place and you're walking through the town and you're hearing church music being played all around. The vibration of the people always have something there to still influence them to be spiritual and positive.
find its reason in every season.
Read his Bible. His Imperial Majesty read his Bible and tried to live his Bible. You see, these are people who were trying to walk out the word. It wasn't simply a means of rhetorical statement, okay? And that's why we feel power when those words are spoken and when those songs are sang, because it's a life. It's a word made flesh. It's a thought put into action, okay? And these are the people who society tries to block, you know, because they're the people who will affect and change the world. Just a portion of their words, just a portion of their presence will illumine and change perspectives. And I'm telling you, change minds and change people.